Loops. If you're watching this video, you probably already know what they are. If you go into the loop with enough speed, you're able to loop through the loop, except I lied, that's not the case. Wait, what? Yeah, so in the 2D game, Sonic always needed enough speed to get all the way through a loop, because, well, physics and all that. But in the 3D Sonic games, there's always dash pads boosting you along the loop without you needing to go on any speed at all. Or sometimes there's not even boost pads, and it just starts propelling you forward, I guess. So basically in the 2D games you need physics to get all the way through, and in the 3D games you're just automated all the way through. Which, in simpler terms, means 2D loops good, 3D loops bad. Well, okay, that's not quite true. There's more to talk about with this than just automation bad. Strangely enough, every 3D Sonic game's physics are incapable of letting Sonic manually go through a loop. Except for the newest Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers? Wow, okay, that sounded like I was about to go into some sort of sponsored segment for Sonic Frontiers, but anyways. What made me want to make this video in the first place was a video uploaded by JW Games. The video shows one of the many automated loops in Kronos Island. They managed to break free of the loop's automation, and when running on just the geometry of the loop itself, Sonic's able to manually go through the loop. It's not perfect, but I'm amazed it works as well as it does. The camera's even able to pretty much perfectly follow Sonic all the way through the loop, which, in my opinion, looks a lot better than the automated camera angles the game gives you. After watching the video for the first time, I went down and commented this. Why did they script these loops when you can actually go through them manually in the game already? This is so much cooler than the automated loops. After commenting, there was a surprising amount of back and forth conversation about the loops in the game, in the form of 12 replies, but you get what I mean. So basically, I'm just gonna make an entire video out of these replies instead of coming up with anything actually original. Part 1. With manual loops, it's easy to lose control and fall off one of the sides. I can sort of see where this argument comes from. I mean, even when I was trying this out myself in Sonic Frontiers, I fell off the side quite a few times. To be fair, I had the power boost though, but that doesn't really change anything because Sonic is meant to be a fast character. I think a good solution to this though is, if you're worried about players falling off the sides, just change the shape of the loop. Make the loop bigger, make it wider, add railings or whatever. I forgot the name of these. Is this funny yet? Is me forgetting the name of this funny yet? This wouldn't be my ideal solution to this, for reasons I'll get to later. But I can very much understand why you would want to go for this approach over than just leaving the loop as is. Part 2. Get good, nerd. Lol. I gotta stop using that cutting myself off joke, it's starting to get really unfun. Okay, the way I read this comment made it seem like I was making fun of them, or that I disagree or something, but I don't. This might actually be the point that I agree with most. This point basically boils down to, games are supposed to have some sort of challenge or else it's just boring. Which, yeah, I don't really know what else to say on this. Actually, I kinda do know what more to say on this. It's clear that a lot more game devs, including Sonic Team, are trying to focus a lot more on accessibility, which is great, although if the game's really that challenging for you, I'm not sure how you would have even gotten to the loop in the first place. But accessibility options are supposed to be accessibility options, and they're supposed to be optional. Having accessibility options is great and all, but you need to also let players who don't need them be able to play without them. I get that would take more time to develop, but if you don't have the time or resources to develop something like that, at least just add railings to the sides of the loops so it's very hard to fall off the loops unless you're trying to. I'm sorry, but I just don't want Sonic to be automated so much of the time anymore. Part 3. You have the freedom to just skip the boost pad anyway if it bothers you. Yeah, sure, but yeah, okay. Part 4. Okay, I'm kidding, I am going to focus on part 3 a bit more because I do have some stuff to say about this point. I disagree with this point fully, but I do somewhat understand where it comes from. I mean, every player can do whatever they want to get through a game, right? Just like how I can purposefully do terrible in a boss fight because I think the boss fight's a bit too easy. The boss fight is still too easy though. I'm sorry, I don't really know entirely how to describe this. I know what my problem is with this argument, but I don't really know how to describe my problem with this argument. Like, let's say you find hopscotch too easy, so halfway through you decide to just lean entirely to the left. But the point of the whole thing is to beat the game. This is a bad comparison. I should have compared this using video games. Like probably 50% of you have probably left the video already because of this. I should probably move on to part 4. The problem is that it's a video game, not a movie. I don't want to watch Sonic do cool things, I want to make him do cool things. And that's the other half of why I think loops shouldn't be so automated. Again, accessibility options are great, but like, it is a video game. It's meant to be interactive. I'm not supposed to just step on a boost pad and have the game do everything for me. The boost pads shouldn't act as a play button for a video of Sonic going through a loop. I should be able to take part in the game and control the character. Part 5, which I completely forgot to add right up until now, and it would have made a lot more sense to add this to the part before this part, but crap, I'm already way too late into the video to do that. By way too late, I mean 5 minutes. I'm lazy. The automated loops serve as needed breaks from the fast-paced gameplay Sonic has. I agree. Just don't do those automated loops so much. Please. Especially for just like normal loops. I got a Discord notification. Instead, save the automation for cool set pieces. Make them really memorable by doing crazy camera angles and making Sonic do things a player would probably not very realistically be able to do. Part 6. Conclusion, I think. I don't know, that's just what all my English teachers always told me to call it. Overall, I think that loops do need a lot less automation. They're such a core part of Sonic's identity, and, well, you can't automate those all the time. I mean, you can, but like, let the player of the video game have control over one of those central mechanics in a Sonic game. But also, sometimes automation is very nice for the player as it gives them a much needed break from the action. But again, don't overdo it. So really, the points I agree with the most are parts 2 and 4, which means 2D loops good, 3D loops bad.